We are moving to the next chapter, demand. This is a continuation of the last chapter, so kindly watch the last class. You have to be thorough with that concept of choice. Okay, so in this class I'll be taking till quasi-linear preferences, and then I'll be taking another topic, substitutes and complements. So by 2 classes I'll be completing this chapter. So coming to demand, what in this chapter we discuss is that how the demand for a good changes as price and income change. Okay, how the demand for a good changes as the price and income change. We name this as comparative statics. So what we name this? Comparative statics. So as the name suggests, comparing two situations. What situations? The before and after situations of the change in economic environment. Okay, so in this chapter we study how the demand for a good changes as the price and income change. We will be comparing the situations before and after the price and income changes. First of all, we'll be dividing this to 2. How the demand for a good changes when the income change, then how the demand for a good change when the price change. Okay, so when the income change, right, here we will be dividing the situations before and after situation of the change in economic environment. Okay, and statics means that we are not concerned with any adjustment process that may be involved in moving from one choice to another. Rather, we will only examine the equilibrium choice. So here in the case of the consumer, there are only 2 things in our model that affect the optimal choice. Optimal choice means the bundle, the choice where the consumer gets maximum satisfaction. Okay, so the only 2 things in our model that affect the optimal choice are prices and income. So here the comparative statics question in consumer theory therefore involve in this investigating how demand changes when price and income change. So again, comparative statics is nothing but studying how a choice demand to change in the economic environment. In the case of consumer, the two things that affect the optimal choice is price and income. So we will be studying how demand change when the price and income change. Okay, so we know how to write the demand function. Last class we studied that. So this is our demand function. This is how demand function is written in the in the left hand. Quantity demanded will be written. X1 and X2 is the quantity demanded, and in the right hand each equation, like the function that relates the price and income to that quantity. Okay, so first we'll be discussing normal and inferior goods. So first, as we discussed in the beginning, in this chapter we'll be discussing how the demand is getting changed with the change in income and price change. So in this, normal and inferior good is connected with income change in income of the consumer. Okay, then next is ordinary and given good. It is connected with the demand is connected with the change in price of the goods. So don't get confused. Ordinary and given good will be taken in the next class. Here we discuss normal and inferior good. So normal good, as the name suggests, it is having a normal behavior. What is the normal behavior? So this is budget line, right? Budget line have shifted to this point. That means income is increased. Budget line shift when the income is increased. Income of the consumer is increased. So demand will also increase. So first, I'm really sorry. Okay. So when the income increased, the demand also increased. In the first part, the demand was here. In the second income, the demand is here. So the demand have increased this much when the income increased. So that is normal good. Okay. Normal good means when the consumer's income increase, demand for that particular good also increase. When the consumer's income decrease, demand for that particular good also decrease. Okay, I'm not giving much explanation of this tangency and all, you know what it is. Like when the budget line is tangent to the IC, there the optimal bundle is positioned. In the second indifference curve, the optimal bundle is positioned here, so the demand have increased this much. So that is what normal good is. And if there is a normal good, definitely there will be an abnormal good. So what will be the abnormal behavior? Abnormal behavior will be the exact opposite. When the income of the consumer increase, demand for some particular goods decrease. When the income increase, demand for some particular good decrease. That is inferior good. Don't write it abnormal, okay? Write it inferior good. So this is the budget line. Okay. So this is the budget line. Budget line has shifted outward, that means income increased to this point. So first the bundle was here, like the budget line is tangent to this part of IC indifference curve, so the optimal bundle is positioned here. But when the income increased, optimal bundle is positioned here. Sorry. Okay. So the demand have decreased this much. For example, toned milk or any kind of low quality goods, when the consumer has little income, his demand will he'll only purchase this low quality goods. But when his income increased, will he continue purchasing the low quality good? No, he will start purchasing, like he will start increasing the quality of his life when the consumer's income is increased. Okay, so the demand for low quality goods decrease. Like when the consumer's income is increased, he will not buy the low quality good. Then the income is increased, demand for the low quality good is decreased. So demand for the inferior good is decreased. So that only. Then next is income offer curve. So we studied by this time indifference curve. Then we studied budget line. Okay, and the indifference curve is tangent to the budget line. There the optimal bundle is positioned. Okay, so the first budget line so budget line means the income. I mean the budget line shifted here, so we can denote that income rise to this point. So if this is 10 rupees, so here the income can be 15 rupees. Okay. So in this 10 rupee part, the optimal bundle is positioned here. Then when it was 15, the optimal bundle is positioned here. The IC is tangent to the budget line at this part. Then it is here. Okay, got it. And we see a curve which is connecting all these bundles at different level of, like the bundles demanded at different level of income are connected using a curve. That is the income offer curve. So income offer curve is nothing but it illustrates the bundles of goods that are demanded at different levels of income. This can be also called as income expansion path. So when it is a normal good, when the income is less, when the income is only this much, demand will only this much. When the income is this much, demand will be this much. For a normal good, so it is a positive slope. So this is another curve, it is angel curve. Angel curve means, so if we hold the prices of good 1 and good 2 fixed and look how the demand changes as we change the income, we'll get angel curve. Okay, that is, here the prices and other all things are constant, we are just focusing on the income. So you have this much income, then the demand will be also little. When the income increase, demand increase, income again increase, demand again increase. So that is angel curve. So that's it. And about the normal and inferior good, yeah, we discussed it already. Okay, so next is let me rub this. Okay, so next is the examples like perfect substitute, perfect complement, then Cobb-Douglas, quasi-linear. So the first three, perfect substitute, perfect complement, and Cobb-Douglas are homothetic preference. We'll study that in detail later in this class itself. Okay, so perfect substitute, as we said, the red pencil and blue pencil. Consumer doesn't care the color of pencil. He just want the total amount. For example, 20. He just want 20 pencils in total. So imagine a condition where the price of x2 can be a red pencil and x1 can be the blue pencil. When the price of red pencil is 100 rupees and price of blue pencil is 10 rupees, what will the consumer prefer? Blue pencil, because it is cheaper. So he will never ever invest in buying red pencils. He will never ever spend his income to buy a red pencil. He will just buy the blue pencil. 20 blue pencil. Okay, 0 red pencil and 20 blue pencil. That means the first bundle will be at here. All the, like here it will be M by, if he is spending all the income to buy X1, then the bundle will be marked in M by P1. Okay, we have discussed in the last class. So nothing, it will be this x-axis only, because he is just buying the bundles which is only having blue pencil, that is good X1, and connecting this bundles is the income offer curve. So for perfect substitute, if x2 is higher price, like P2 is greater than P1, consumer specialize in consuming good one only, then the income increases, consumers consumption for good one only increase. So the horizontal like the income offer curve will be in horizontal axis. And the demand, yes, here his demand is increasing, right? In the demand curve, in the angel curve, we will not demand curve, angel curve. In the angel curve, we will not look like whether he is buying x2 or not. We'll only look whether he is spending more or not. Yes, his demand is increasing. The demand is increasing, we studied here. So when his money is this much, he demands this much, and when his income reached this part, his demand also, so this simply notes that his demand is increasing with the increased money. Just mark it here. Okay, so that is what perfect substitutes are. The next is perfect complements. Okay, so for perfect complements, we know the consumer will only demand bundles when x1 and x2 are equal. Cite the example of just look the example of left shoe and right shoe. Consumer only have a demand when number of left shoe is equal to number of right shoe. Number of x1 is equal to x2. So these both come equal only at this part, right? So since the consumer will always consume the same amount of each good, no matter what, the income offer curve is the diagonal line through the origin, right? Because the bundles are only demanded at this point where both the bundles are both the goods are equal. So income offer curve will just connect that, and it will be a straight line through the diagonal. And here we know the slope will be P1 plus P2, because the demand for good one is, we have studied it, demand for a complement good will be M by P1 plus P2, because both is considered here. He can't just simply go with left shoe as in the substitute, we just go with the blue pencil, so it will be M by P1. But here we can't go simply with the left shoe, we need both, so M by P1 plus P2. And this will be the angel curve. And next is Cobb-Douglas. So for Cobb-Douglas, first of all, look the definition. So in the last class we have explained it in very detail, the Cobb-Douglas preference. Okay, in very detail we have explained, so please watch the last class. And this is the utility function of Cobb-Douglas. We have studied that already, and we know the demand for good one will be in the form x1 equal to am by p1. So the demand for good 2 will be 1 minus am by p2. Okay, so x1, because we know the exponents have to be the sum of 1, like have to sum in 1. So if 1 is a, then the next one will be 1 minus a. We have discussed in the last class, just go through that. So this comes like this. For a fixed value of p1, it is a linear function of m, and in good 2 also this is a linear function. So the fact that demand function for both the goods are linear functions of Ingham means that the Ingham expansion path will be straight lines through the origin, and the angel curve will be with the slope of p1 by a. Without getting the concept of Cobb-Douglas, this won't be clear. Okay, this won't be clear. So this is how the curve comes. Both the goods are having the demand function are like linear, so it will pass through the origin. Okay, so these three were homothetic preference. And what is homothetic preference? It depends on the ratio. Like if the consumer prefers, so here instead of x1 x2, I'm saying x as an abbreviation, or else you will be getting confused. X and y abbreviation. So if the consumer prefers x to y, automatically she prefers 2x to 2y, right? Then 3x to 3y, and so on, since the ratio of good 1 to good 2 is the same for all the bundles. Okay, so the consumer prefers tx to ty for any positive value of t. Then the preferences that have this property is known as homothetic preference. That means the similarity that we saw in the last three diagrams, perfect substitute, perfect complement, then what Cobb-Douglas were, their angel curve was straight, right? Angel curve were, a straight line. Okay, why was it like that? That similarity is because they are homothetic preference. That means as x is to preferred, x is preferred to y, so 2x is preferred to 2y. That means doubling, the preference is also doubled. Then the demand is also doubled. Okay, the demand is also doubled because it is on the same ratio. Things happen in the same ratio. So the angel curve is a straight line. And if you double Ingham, you just double the demand for each good. That is, if preferences are homothetic, it means that when Ingham is scaled up or down, both situations have to be considered. When the Ingham is scaled up or scaled down by any amount which is t is greater than 0, any amount greater than 0, the demand bundle scales up or down by the same amount. If the IC is tangent to the budget line x, then the indifference curve through Tx is a tangent line, is tangent to the budget line that has T times as much Ingham and the same price. Okay, it is just on the ratio. That's it. So that is homothetic preference, and an exception for homothetic preferences are, what to say, the quasi-linear preferences. For this you need to be thorough with the concept of quasi-linear preferences. I'll just explain one real life example so you can remember it faster. Suppose good 1 is pencils and good 2 is the money to be spent on other goods. No, in the budget constraint chapter we have studied this concept. Good 1 being a particular good and good 2 is the money that the consumer is willing to spend on all other goods other than good 1. Okay. So suppose good 1 is pencil and good 2 is the money to be spent on all other goods. Initially, I may spend my income only on pencils. But when my income gets larger enough, I stop buying additional pencils. When my income is increased, I don't want pencils anymore. When I reach at that point, all my extra income is spent on other goods. Okay, all my extra income is spent on other goods. So how will the how will the angel curve appear? So till this part, I bought pencils. No. After this part, I stopped buying pencils. My demand for pencils is not increasing anymore. So it will be a straight line. Got it. The income offer curve will be income offer curve will be a straight line. In the angel curve, yeah, till this part we had demand. After that, we stopped buying. Then it is a straight line. That is, for good one, there is a zero income effect. From this part onwards, the good one, there is a zero income effect. Increasing income doesn't change the consumption of good one. All extra income goes entirely to the consumption of good two. So zero income effect for the good one. That's it. And next is ordinary good and given good. So this is connected with the price of the good, not the income of the consumer, price of the good. So I'm not taking it in this class, you'll get confused. So we'll discuss that in the next class, and I'm covering one more topic in this class which is very easy, that is substitute and complement. Okay, before that, one more thing also, we know what is luxury good and necessary good, right? When the income goes up, the demand for a good could increase more or less rapidly than the income increase. The proportion can differ. In the elasticity, we have covered this part. So if the demand for a good goes up by a greater proportion than income, we see it as a luxury good. All the articles of ostentation, diamond, gold, all those. If it goes up by a lesser proportion than income, we say that it is a necessary good. Okay, that's it. I just covered that. So coming to substitutes and complements. So we know what is perfect substitutes are. Red pencil and blue pencil. Right? Now imagine pencils and pen. Are they perfect substitutes? No, they are imperfect substitutes. Because pens and pencils, to some degree, yes, both are used for writing only. So up to some degree, it is a substitute for each other. Although they aren't as perfect as the substitute of red pencil and blue pencil. And complementary good. So shoes and a pair of socks. So left shoe and right shoe, definitely they can only be consumed together. But shoes and a pair of socks, usually consumed together, but albeit not always. Okay. So speaking to the point, if demand for good one goes up when the price goes up, demand for good one goes up when the price of good two goes up, then we say that good one is a substitute of good two. We have in the income offer curve, we have studied how the income offer curve is for the perfect substitute. Imagine red pencil and blue pencil. The red pencil's price went up, blue pencil is cheaper. So will the consumer demand red pencil as it is costly? No, the consumer will only demand blue pencil, because what he cares is only the number, not the color or anything. So when the price of red pencil became expensive, consumer switches to consuming blue pencil only. That is, when the price of good red pencil increased, demand for blue pencil increased. The consumer substitutes away from more expensive good to less expensive good. On the other hand, if the demand for good 1 goes down when the price of good 2 goes up, we say that good 1 is a complement to good 2. That is, when the demand of car goes down when the price of petrol goes up. right? That is a real life example only. So complements are goods that are consumed together, like coffee and sugar. So when the price of coffee increases, demand for sugar decrease. If the coffee is expensive, not always everyone are going to consume this coffee. Like sugar is needed for that, so we won't be purchasing sugar. Like the demand for sugar decrease. Coffee means coffee powder, no? Okay. So the cases of perfect substitutes and perfect complements illustrates the point nicely, that delta x1 by delta p2 is positive in the case of perfect substitute, and delta x1 by delta p2 will be negative in the case of perfect complements. Okay, and there are some warnings like for this concept. First is, I'll take that part so you can write it. So first of all, this is for substitute, and this is for complements. So the two good case is rather special when it comes to complements and substitutes. Since income is being held fixed, if you spend more money on good one, you'll have to spend less on good two. This puts some restrictions on the kinds of behavior that are possible. When there are more than two goods, these restrictions are not such of a problem. Okay. Second, also the definition of substitutes and complements in terms of consumer demand behavior seems sensible. There are some difficulties with the definition in more general environments. For example, if we use the above definitions in a situation involving more than two goods, it is perfectly possible that good 1 may be a substitute for good 3, but good 3 may be a complement for good 1 because of this peculiar feature. More advanced treatments typically use a somewhat different definition of substitute and complement. There comes gross substitutes and gross complements. So we'll be studying detail and further chapters on this concept. Just go through that, and in next class we'll go with ordinary and given goods, and we'll finish this chapter by next class. So that's it. Thank you.